Title: The Tale of Aparajita, the Unconquered Princess. 1. A Royal Birth. Gather round, dear listeners, and let me transport you to a time of grand palaces, dense forests, and enchanting melodies that played in the air. In the heart of ancient India, there stood the majestic kingdom of Vijayanagar. This tale begins on a moonlit night, when the entire kingdom was swathed in a silvery glow. The kingdom was abuzz with excitement. Why, you ask? Queen Malika was about to give birth to her first child. As the royal priests chanted and the stars danced in the night sky, a baby's cry echoed through the palace corridors. It was a girl with eyes as bright as the pole star and skin as radiant as the morning sun. The king, Raja Devendra, filled with joy, named her Aparajita, meaning the unconquered. From the moment she opened her eyes, there was something special about her. She was not just a princess, she was a beacon of hope for the entire kingdom. On the night of her birth, a wise old sage visited the palace. He had traveled from a distant land, guided by the stars, to see this child of destiny. Holding the baby's tiny hand, he whispered, "This child will grow to be like no other, possessing a spirit that no challenge can defeat." And so, in the heart of Vijayanagar, under the twinkling canopy of the night, the story of Aparajita, the unconquered princess, began. Little did the kingdom know of the adventures and legends that awaited their beloved princess. But that, dear listeners, is a tale for another chapter. 2. The Prophecy of Greatness. In the tranquil gardens of Vijayanagar, where blossoms danced and fountains sang, Aparajita spent her early years. As days turned into nights and nights into days, the princess grew, her laughter becoming the kingdom's favorite melody. Yet, as she grew, whispers about the wise sage's prophecy on the night of her birth also spread. They said that she was destined for greatness, that she was not just a princess, but a symbol of hope, a beacon of resilience. The prophecy stated, "When shadows loom and the kingdom's heart beats with worry, the unconquered spirit of Aparajita will rise." And so, Aparajita was not just raised as royalty, but also with tales of valor, wisdom, and love. Her teachers were the best scholars, her mentors the bravest knights. Every evening, she would sit by the lotus pond, listening intently to stories from far-off lands, tales of mighty heroes, and mysterious realms. However, among all the stories, her grandmother's tales were her favorite. She would often say, "Your destiny, dear Aparajita, is written in the stars. But it's your heart and spirit that will decide its course." Yet, even with the weight of prophecy, Aparajita remained a lively child. Curious and full of wonder, she played with the children of the kingdom, learning as much from them as from her royal tutors. Unbeknownst to her, she was already becoming the leader the prophecy spoke of. As the sun set one evening, casting golden hues across Vijayanagar, a new chapter awaited Aparajita, one that would test her spirit and courage. But for now, she lay on the grass, looking at the stars, dreaming of the future. 3. The Mysterious Stranger. As days turned into months, Aparajita's life was filled with joy, lessons, and discoveries. One day, while she was practicing her archery skills near the forest edge, a mysterious figure approached from the woods, cloaked in tattered robes, and with a staff adorned with curious symbols. The stranger caught Aparajita's attention immediately. The guards, alarmed, were about to stop the stranger, when Aparajita signaled them to wait. She was always taught to listen, to learn, and not judge by appearances. "Who are you, traveler?" she inquired, her voice echoing courage. "I am Vayu, a wanderer of realms, seeker of truths. I have been watching you from afar." "Young princess," he replied, his voice as soft as the wind, his namesake. "Why have you been watching me?" Aparajita questioned, her curiosity piqued. "To see if the prophecies are true, if the beacon of hope truly resides in you," Vayu responded, his eyes gleaming with wisdom. Aparajita, remembering the tales her grandmother had shared about wise sages who tested the hearts of heroes, decided to entertain Vayu's curiosity. "What must I do to prove myself?" she asked. Vayu smiled. "You've already begun by showing kindness to a stranger. But remember, true strength lies not just in your skills, but in your choices." He then handed her a small pendant shaped like a lotus. "This will guide you when you most need it," he whispered before disappearing into the woods. Aparajita, intrigued and inspired, wore the pendant. Little did she know that this mysterious meeting was the beginning of an adventure she had only dreamt of. 4. The Lotus Pendant's Power. A few days after her encounter with the sage, Vayu, Aparajita was walking by the palace pond, lost in thought. She noticed the shimmering reflection of the moon on the water, broken intermittently by lotuses bobbing gently. The sight reminded her of the pendant she wore, given by the mysterious wanderer. Curiosity piqued, she leaned down to touch a lotus. As she did, the pendant emitted a gentle glow, and the lotus she touched blossomed radiantly, its petals emitting a soft luminescence. Startled and amazed, Aparajita touched another lotus, and the same phenomenon occurred. She realized that the pendant had a unique power connected to the lotuses. The once quiet pond now shimmered with multiple glowing lotuses, looking like stars descended on earth. She sat down, contemplating this newfound power. As she did, a soft voice resonated in her mind. In purity and stillness, find your strength, the voice whispered, reminding her of Vayu's words about strength lying in choices. Determined to uncover the pendant's mysteries, Aparajita decided to embark on a journey to the Temple of Lotuses, a place she had heard of in tales but never visited. The temple was said to be the dwelling of ancient wisdom, and perhaps held the answers she sought. Aparajita's spirit was bolstered. This was not just about the pendant's power, but also about her personal journey of discovery. She was eager to find out more about her destiny and the role she was meant to play in the grand tapestry of life. Little did she know that her next adventure was just around the corner. 5. The Temple of Lotuses and the Guardian's Test. A week had passed since Aparajita discovered the power of the lotus pendant. With her belongings packed and determination in her heart, she reached the entrance of the legendary Temple of Lotuses by the day's end. The temple, standing tall amidst a sea of blooming lotuses, was guarded by an old woman named Cultivation. Her eyes, though aged, twinkled with a spark of youth and wisdom. Recognizing Aparajita's pendant, she spoke. "Ah, the chosen one has finally arrived. But before you enter, you must pass a test." Without waiting for a reply, Cultivation pointed towards a withered lotus in the middle of the pond and said, "Make it bloom without touching it or using your pendant." Aparajita pondered. She remembered Vayu's words and the lessons she'd learned. Closing her eyes, she began to sing a melodious tune, pouring her heart and emotions into every note. The surrounding lotuses began to sway, and the waters rippled in rhythm. As the climax of her song approached, the once withered lotus slowly began to unfurl its petals, blossoming in full glory, illuminated by the moonlight. The entire pond echoed with the resonance of her voice, and a path of lotuses lit up, leading to the temple's entrance. Cultivation, visibly impressed, nodded in approval. "Your strength isn't just a pendant, young one. It's the purity of your heart. You may proceed." Aparajita, filled with gratitude and anticipation, stepped onto the path, eager to unravel the mysteries that awaited her inside the temple. 6. The Heart of the Temple. Upon entering the temple, Aparajita found herself in a vast chamber, illuminated by a singular, radiant lotus floating in midair. Beneath it stood an altar with inscriptions. As she approached, the words became clear: "True strength lies within." Understanding dawned upon Aparajita. The pendant, the lotuses, and the temple were mere symbols. Her journey wasn't about the pendant's power, but about discovering her inner strength and the purity of her intentions. She placed the pendant on the altar, and the floating lotus descended, merging with it. A brilliant light enveloped the temple, then faded. The pendant was now a simple necklace, but Aparajita's spirit had never been stronger. 7. A legacy unforgotten. The kingdom thrived under Aparajita's rule as her legend spread beyond borders. She wasn't just a warrior or a wise leader. She symbolized hope, courage, and resilience. Her unyielding spirit inspired countless stories, songs, and poems passed down through generations. As years turned to decades and then centuries, the princess, who tamed rivers, championed the common people, and ushered in peace, became a beacon of inspiration. Her legacy wasn't just of a ruler, but of an idea that with conviction and love, one can conquer any challenge. And so, Aparajita, the unconquered princess, lived forever in the heartbeats of her people. The end. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the next piece. Please give a like and subscribe. Thank you.